Skip this ad, too. Come on. You guys know you want to do it. We all do. While the stats vary, there's evidence that about 9 out of 10 people who can skip an ad do that, whether that's by hitting the skip ad button or fast-forwarding through the commercial break while watching time-shifted programming. In fact, I think that the countdown clock is one of the more honest things to ever happen in advertising. It's the most explicit admission yet that ads aren't what people want, they're what's in the way of what people want. Not all advertising, of course. The best and most celebrated ads have always been those that tell the greatest stories, because the best creatives and brands have always known that the key to winning over consumers is through narratives that are worthy of their time. It's a simple human fact. We're all suckers for a great story, whether that story is Ridley Scott's The Martian or Ridley Scott's 1984 spot for Apple. Audiences have always had the power to skip ads, of course. Those of us old enough to remember the remote control, not me personally, know that skipping ads back then was as simple as heading to the kitchen to fix a snack during the commercial break or heading to the bathroom to fix your hair. And if we're in search of a narrative thread of what's happened in our industry in the last 20 years, it's all been about one thing. And that one thing is consumer empowerment. TiVo broke the stranglehold of network TV programmers. The iPod destroyed the tyranny of the album and sent you straight to the song you wanted. And every new media technology that has come along since then has only increased the power of the audience. Even the technologies we don't like. About 200 million people around the world now employ ad blockers to rid their feeds of thousands of ads every month. And while the IAB and others have rightfully decried the motives of for-profit ad blockers, there's something here we can't deny. Even as you try to shoot the messenger, you can't ignore the message. People block ads because advertising has become more annoying and less tolerable than ever. And while ad avoidance has always been an issue, there's another reason that we were able to largely ignore it for decades. It's because advertising was viewed by many as a necessary evil. The price consumers paid for access to free content. I think that some brands smugly believed they could never lose their seat at the table because they believed that consumers would never pay for content and would always rely on brands to subsidize that experience. They were wrong. Just ask Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, CISO, Vessel, Spotify Premium, YouTube Red, Fullscreen, HBO Now, on and on. Audiences have shown they're willing to pay for quality content, especially if those payments make the ads disappear. Nearly 2/3 of US households now subscribe to a video streaming service. And some of those subscription services don't even offer exclusive content to their paid subscribers. In fact, the sole benefit of ponying up a few dollars a month is the elimination of advertising. The end result of all of these factors, we now only consume what we want, when we want it, where we want it, how we want it, if we want it. And that's a good thing for audiences. But it hasn't been a good thing for advertisers, because it diminishes the ability of brands to interrupt the content we're trying to consume so they can tell us how great they are. But the more we block them, the more they pour in with a daily bombardment of messages that greet us on every screen and every surface. And that flood of logos, to me, seems less like proof that advertising remains a powerful cultural force, and more like evidence that advertisers are getting desperate in an attempt to diminish the power that technology has bestowed on consumers. So consumer empowerment has been a good thing for audiences, but not a good thing for brands. Except maybe that's wrong. Maybe it is a good thing for brands. Maybe audiences aren't the only ones who can benefit by skipping ads. Maybe smart brands and smart marketers should also skip ads. Skip making them, skip shoving them down our throats. Maybe skip ads isn't a negative statement, but a positive one. Because when you skip ads, you can do so much more. You can skip ads and tell stories. Skip ads and entertain. Skip ads and educate. Skip ads and inspire. Skip ads and touch lives. skip ads and win hearts. Don't get in the way of what they want, be what they want. The post-advertising world is taking shape, and that's a really good thing. Nearly every media company in the world now, CNN, the New York Times, NBC, AOL, iHeart, Pandora, Vox, Condé Nast, now operate some version of a brand where they co-create original content in partnership with brands. And A-list storytellers, some of whom you'll hear from today, people like Morgan Spurlock, Ron Howard, Mark Burnett, Dan Herman, Mitch Hurwitz, Eileen Chaikin, regularly collaborate with brands to create stories that draw audiences. And brands such as Red Bull, GE, Marriott, Pepsi, Taco Bell, and more are making significant investments in creating content and telling stories that are ready to compete with what the best of what TV and the web have to offer. As the quality of that brand-inspired content rises, so does the industry recognition. The Tribeca Film Festival this year launched the X Award, which festival co-founder Jane Rosenthal said was designed to recognize that brands now serve as financiers and studios, and to, quote, celebrate the high-quality, provocative storytelling that comes from brand artist collaborations. At the same time, new technologies and new platforms from virtual reality to live video are transforming the way that stories are created, distributed, consumed, and shared. The golden age of advertising may be coming to a close, but the golden age of storytelling is just getting started, and that's something you don't want to skip. Now, speaking of things that I don't want to skip, I probably should give a proper introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Scott Donaton, Chief Content Officer of Digitas, and welcome to our 2016 NewFront. You've probably heard this referred to as the 5th annual NewFront, and that's true in terms of the IAB marketplace that we're proud to be a part of. But many of you in this room also know that this is actually the 9th year we've been doing this. And it really is amazing for us at Digitas to see how far that's come. In fact, I'm going to stop for a second and ask everyone to acknowledge and thank not only the people who have put this on, but in particular, Dave Fink, who has led this for 7 years for us and putting on a great show. Please thank them. Now, as the only agency to present during these 2 weeks, we feel a strong obligation to skip our own sales message and present to you a program that provides insights and context on the challenges, opportunities, and innovations in the marketplace.